the analyst desk. My name is Michael Hingersing, and we are into game 2 of the OPL finals. Chiefs are up 1-0, guys, but if you're a Legacy fan, do not despair, because Chiefs, as we discussed before, are game 1 specialists, right? So how do we get back into this, Tigo? How does Legacy get back in?
I still believe it's going to be 3-1. I still believe.
You still believe?
Hopefully that's all their nerves got. They find their defined shot caller. They find that voice that they so desperately need, and they treat it like they treated every other game. That's what it felt like. They came into it, they played passive, they played safe, they played careful. At the Rift Herald fight, you watch Choo-Choo's flash away instead of into them. If you flashed into him, that's definitely a kill, maybe a double kill. Instead of flashing away, because that's the safe play. That's the I don't want to make a mistake play. They can't do that anymore. They need to take the risk that they took in the regular season, especially if they're going to look to fight as much as they did.
I think classically playing against Legacy for so long, they're the best when they've got their backs against the wall. And I think especially with this 1-0 loss, Legacy have always somehow managed to play really, really well when they're really behind. And if there's any good news for Legacy, I would say that in that game, they played. This is the level they played at, and usually they play at this level. So it's really, I feel like it would be really easy for them to just step up the game. And a lot of the plays, a lot of the mistakes they made were very team-based mistakes. They weren't very kind of individually got 1v1 mechanics outplayed. It was very team-based, sloppy mistakes, and I think if they cleaned it up, they have a very good fighting chance.
Besides Carbon's death early on.
I hate being the guy. You know, you guys just put my back against the wall. The game doesn't change. Nothing I saw in that game actually shows me that Legacy understand that standard lanes are now the way of the future, and that you have to be able to path around your jungle efficiently. You know, I definitely agree with the thought of, you know, they play well with their backs against the wall, but they need to completely revamp just how they approach that game of League of Legends, because looking for counter picks, you know, after the reason that these counter picks were so good is because, you know, in an elongated lane, after the outer turrets have been knocked down and you're securing sideway farm for your top laner, there's no way Gnar can approach because the wave's too big. I mean, Gnar with Hop on this patch, sure, he loses to Aurelia eventually, but he's pretty much ungankable by that combo early in the game unless Carbon gets some really sneaky gank pass. And if Spooks continues to find him, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I just hated the Trundle support as well. Why are you going Trundle support when you worked so well being able to peel people? Trundle, he has a pillar which honestly is not peel. It really is.
I actually think that was a little bit of a mind game. I'm going to give a shout out to Jish here because the Chiefs never play Karma support. I mean, I didn't think they could do it. I called it in the arena when we went there that, you know, I think that is a Karma mid lane and that they're going to pick Alistar. And I think that Kuden got that read as well. And he was looking for the better matchup into an Alistar in that 1v1, 2v2 situation. So credit to Aegium for being able to pick up a new support and run with it.
I really want to see Legacy for once not play kind of defensive bot lanes. Like Kuden is a very kind of, I guess Aegium is a very aggressive playmaker. Kuden a very peely support, very defensive. So they're really polar opposite ends. And if you saw that game, you know, you got Lucian Trundle into Sivir Karma. And Sivir Karma is just going to shove you in all day. Spooks is going to freely track Carbon in the jungle. So I really want to see Legacy play a lane where they can assert their dominance and not let Spooks just freely walk into the jungle and track Carbon.
And Legacy have done it really well in the past. I mean, they play good pushing mid laners. They can play a very aggro style. It's just that they haven't lately. So, you know, it might be shaking off some of those cobwebs. But I agree. You need a pushing half of the map, and you need Carbon to at least have some time in Fog of War to be able to work his magic.
I think they have to respect the Chief pick ban, though. Like you said, it was a mind game with Trundle, right? But that's expecting Chiefs to just follow a flowchart and go, all right, now we pick Alistar, without any reflection on what the enemy picked. You have to give them that respect, and I think they've definitely earned it now. So after this, they go back, they look back at those picks. Even though I don't believe pick ban ended the game for them, there were still a lot of mistakes more important than that to reflect on. That's one that you can easily fix and work on.
Raider, can I just ask, as someone who's played in a lot of these finals before, if you go down 1-0 in that kind of style, what kind of mentality are you looking for to get back into games 2 and 3 from a psychological standpoint?
So we always have a saying. I don't know if it's I think Ivan from Riot actually gave it this, also shout out to him. But we have a saying, when you're down 0-1, even when we played footy in high school, we just said nil all boys. 0-0. And it's like no matter if you're 0-2 down, if you're 2-all down, you treat the game as if you were 0-0, as if you were fresh, as if you had nothing, no baggage hanging, and you're just going to give it your all.
All right, well, let us see if Legacy can treat this like a 0-0 and get back into this series. They're only down 1-0, and as we said, Chiefs are that game 1 specialist, so let's see if Legacy can get back. That's enough from us here at the Analyst Desk. Let's throw now to the casters.
Thank you very much, Hingers, and welcome back to the arena, ladies and gentlemen. I'm, of course, Atlas. This is Rusty, and Rusty, Legacy, is it all about that reset? Is it all about what's been going on now backstage?
I agree with Raider, honestly. Every single game is 0-0. That's the beauty of Summoner's Rift in League of Legends, right? Is it starts from level 1 all over again. Yes, Legacy went down in game number 1, and the Chiefs genuinely dismantled them. They looked incredible through that game. but you can reset. You can go back and reflect on where it went wrong or what you can improve in the second game and just play towards your strengths again.
Yeah, and of course it is going to take a lot of change here from Legacy. I expect to see a whole bunch of different picks, a whole lot of different strategies, because as soon as you go into a game feeling like this could be a repeat occurrence, that is not what you want. I think everything's going to be switched up here.
Yeah, the only scary thing is that was a confidence draft from Legacy. They picked comfortable champions. They tried to just get themselves through that first game, maybe hit team fighting and reflect upon things that went good or bad. That was just bad. And they really do need to hit the drawing board and reassess what they can do to change it. It could be that everything changes, or it could be a single entity changes its identity, like tally cheesing with Riven or Gangplank or something.
Yeah, or maybe even Kud moving away from the Trundle. Do you think the Trundle was possibly one of the things that really held Legacy back there?
So I don't think the Trundle was a problem. I actually am impressed with the Chiefs, and I agree with Spawn. I think the Karma was just a bit of a cheese pick, that they bluffed saying that it was going to be mid. Then they picked the Lissandra and had a honestly better, well-rounded team composition. Karma's not Ejin. Like, that doesn't mean you can engage. It doesn't have the Alistar Pulverize on it.
Yeah.
But they still did it.
Well, we'll see whether it is going to work out once again, as Karma's going to be banned. Legacy just get rid of it. Don't want to see that one at all. Vladimir, of course, on the red side, generally banned away as Gragas once again going to go. Legacy not looking for that first pick of the jungle. We'll lock something else down, as Jin is going to be the second ban here from the Chiefs. So Karma, the only new one to hit the ban list, and Gnar is going to be taken away, and I love this. Get rid of what beat you.
And this is entirely adaptive from Legacy, yes, but note which champions are still available, and a lot of the focus of game number 1 was actually on that middle lane. So now Talia stands present. The Chiefs have to decide what they want to actually ban and what's worth it.
And LeBlanc's there as well. Of course, Swiffer has almost everything up his sleeve. As Gangplank once again going to be the final ban, Chiefs think, well, happy for the game to go, very similar to last one. As Tali's going to hover the Teemo. Korea Mail Piazza goes completely ballistic, but that's going to be the Lucian locked in. Tali takes away King's Picker. It's now Spooks and Swiper doing their general hovers, and we'll see what the Chiefs decide to lock away here for their first round.
Yeah, so we'll wait for them to move towards perhaps the Alawi and then change to the actual champion that they want to be. The Chiefs never cease to impress. Poppy, whilst it's being hovered, we do have to highlight this. It's a fantastic pick at the moment.
Yeah.
Swiper has been grinding it in solo queue, and it will be something we may see in this best of 5.
We can see Swiper now thinking about the Trundle. Sorry, not Trundle, Maokai. I was going into my next point, which was the fact that Legacy are able to pick up that Trundle if they want to. Subjugate, of course, fantastic. I would love to see the Poppy, however, because Swiper's always been a brilliant tank player, and full tank Poppy in this meta at the moment is brilliant.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Not only that, Spook's probably going to pick his own champion here unless they go the support route.
Oh my goodness.
Make your mind up, Swiper.
Spooks as well. There's Talia locked away. Swiffer's going to grab his champion in the mid lane. It's been a while since we saw it because it's so oppressive. Spooks locks away the Rek'Sai. Carbon will see what he does.
And that's dangerous. Legacy do have answers to the Talia. If they wish to have a wave clear, they could go for the Victor. If they want to kill the Talia, they can go for the Cassiopeia again. It wasn't that bad. The beauty about what the Chiefs have right now, though, is that Talia is taken from Choose as much as it is taken for Swiffer.
That's what I love about these two mid laners, because the Cassiopeia as well in the last game felt like it was taken from Swiffer, and then you're like, well, Choose has definitely played a heck of a lot of it, is fantastic on the champion, has looked to carry on the champion as well. Now Legacy do lock away the Braum, so the Lucian Braum bottom lane is going to be coming in here, and there's the Shen for Tali on the top side of the map. See what Swiper is going to take into it.
And it was King that said Chiefs are 4 supports and a carry. Right now it looks like Legacy are 4 supports and a King.
Yeah.
So very much a similar identity to what he believes the Chiefs are. Does look like a lot of the onus is now going to be on King to step up massive.
And a lot of global power here out of Legacy at the same time. So that Stand United going to be very effective. We'll see whether Choose looks towards something like a Twisted Fate, which would that's mostly me getting excited because I love that pick in the hands of Choose and Legacy when they play as a unit. Legacy at their height almost felt like a hive mind. They were moving so well together around the map. And we'll see whether they can get back to that because they need something to go right for them. As Swiffer going to lock away the Trundle. Could be for Swiper on the top side, but it's not, as Ejim's going to take it into the support position, and there's Maokai for Swiper. Oh, hang on a second. Would this be support, Maokai? Or am I mental? No? Okay. Got excited. Once again, Teemo with the hover.
Everyone really wants Teemo.
Yeah, no one really wants Aatrox, which is sort of unfortunate.
You know the
I quite
beauty
like
of
Aatrox.
Teemo is that everyone's like, yeah, Teemo, and then he'll lock it in, everyone will freak out, and then they'll do nothing for 40 minutes because all Teemo does is just play shrooms.
He does. He does. He can split push as well. I mean, the 1v1's okay. I'm not even going to talk about it as now Kuden thinking about what they want to do. 23 seconds on the clock now for Legacy to round out their roster. Still a jungler to be picked up and a mid laner here to choose.
Could be the Victor with the Graves, perhaps, if they wanted to bring that back. The Gragas is banned. Rek'Sai's been taken from him.
Well, this would be a lot of single target lockdown. 2 seconds to go, Legacy. Come on, guys. That's the Nidalee, but it is going to be Malzahar for choosing the mid lane. Weren't expecting to see as much of the Void Master himself, just with the fact that that passive has had its duration lowered so much.
Yeah, and he's also into a Trundle that can take him out of the ultimate if there is no spell shield there, which is basically never there anymore because it only lasts 0.25 of a second and the cooldown has been increased. Malzahar not the best champion, but look at what Legacy have actually put together for themselves as a team.
Yeah.
And that's why the Malzahar is picked. Lucian can stand behind him. Literally everyone stands behind Braum. And they've got the Shen ultimate to protect the person doing damage. This is all about ensuring that King is massive and that he can hard carry.
An incredible single target lockdown as well, especially from that mid lane. As we talk about Malzahar either being used for damage in these situations or just lockdown. And with a Nidalee, she just does so much damage, especially at the moment. You saw the clip from Carbon. This guy, very, very practiced now on the slight tweaks to how you play around on this Nidalee.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Shout outs to Raid here on the analyst desk. Raze picking up the Cogmore.
That's ballsy.
Yeah, it is.
He's just picked Cogmore into a Malzahar Nidalee, a team composition designed to kill single targets, and he's made himself the single target.
This is terrifying.
There is a beauty behind this pick, though, is that the way that Legacy want to play this is to have Chiefs come at them. And by coming at them, they will kill the tank, they'll take out the front line of the Chiefs, and then work to the back line. If you do that against the Cogmore, you lose that fight.
Yeah. It's going to be so dependent on Raze and his positioning as well. And one of the reasons why Raze is such a good player is because his positioning is brilliant. He's a Jhin player. Always needs to be as far back as possible, but he's one of those guys that's able to get even those bullets in there and get the work done. And Swiffer as well, he's on his Talia, and Talia does a heck of a lot of consistent damage, but they still are a two-threat team. This could be scary.
They definitely are. So the Chiefs have a relatively high amount of damage from those two carries. The rest of the team are just tanks there to facilitate, but the opposite side of the rift is still single target and deadly.
Certainly is. And Legacy have changed it up almost completely. Of course, King still on the Lucian, but this is a big change, and I love it out of the team. And we want to hear from you. You need to be getting behind Legacy right now. Use that hashtag LGC win, give them your energy, or if you believe in the Chiefs, the sweeping power of such an incredible game one, use that hashtag CHF win and let us know on Twitter, because we are going into game 2 of our grand final here in Brisbane, and Chiefs have all the momentum.
A commanding 1-0 victory for the Chiefs right now against Legacy, but it's not over. We know Legacy can come back, and I would be shocked if we don't go to 5 games, Atlas.
Yeah.
A little bit sad.
Welcome to
I know, I want to go to 6 games because, you know, it's gone 3, 4, 5.
If
I
we go
feel
to
like
6, there's no winner.
Or is there? No,
Not
there isn't. Yeah, it's a bit difficult, isn't it? Well, maybe we can go to 7.
30
Not
seconds
sure. At the
until
moment,
minions spawn.
Chiefs now setting themselves up. Ejim wants to play some baseball. King once again sitting in this brush.
Ejim also playing Kuden's champion from the last game, so the gauntlet has been thrown in, and trust Ejim to be one of the people to actually do this.
I love it. We give him the award, and he does it in the game.
In-game dance.
Perfect. Just fantastic. Let's raise the skeleton. I like that skin, of course. You know, less to click on. It's a good idea. Strategic skin choice. When, of course, most of the other Cogmore skins are far more adorable. You can be a butterfly. You can be an oven.
Yes, Atlas.
Okay, my apologies. Meowkai is on the screen now, though, so if we're talking about skins, this should probably be the one. Let's also have a look at some of the Keystone Masteries. Anything standing out here for you, Rusty?
No, nothing really stands out. Perhaps the top lane masteries. Sliper's gone for something a little bit more unique.
Yeah.
Is that 4 grasps? actually.
Yeah, that is 4 grasps.
Yeah, see, I understand it. Playing the Trundle into the Brawn matchup, I would always go Grasp as the Trundle because you need to hit them to actually win trades.
Yep.
And so you'll be killing the Brawn. Kuden's response is actually to match it, and Swiper's just said, Tally's going to hit me, I'm just going to hit him back.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a tank off there towards the top side as Legacy do lock down their Krug camp. The Chiefs do the same thing over at the Gromp, but do it a little bit faster. Is now Carbon doing exactly what Spooks did to him. Throws the spear through. Spooks struggling now as the red is going to reset. And Swiffer immediately rotating over. The Nidalee still prowling around this jungle.
Yeah, that's the strength of the Talia though, right? You can see how pushed that wave was already. Swiffer's able to press his buttons and then run away immediately to help the collapse and stop Carbon from invading Spooks.
A bit of extra damage here from Tally on the top side of the map. Those empowered autos, pretty strong from the Shen. The Arcane Smash is going to help Swiper at least shove this wave forward.
Yeah, it's not where he wants it to be though. Tally does have control of the lane at the moment. Whenever the taunt connects, the auto attacks come out of the Shen. Tally does more damage than Swiper could ever dream of.
And is this lane for Swiper just about surviving for as long as possible, getting to those big items and healing for raids?
Yeah. He just wants to hit that level 6 point, press his R button, clap the air, and stop raids from dying.
Well, Spooks on top of a ward here, going down very, very low, but Nidalee back in her jungle. You can see lots of damage here out of Legacy on the bottom side of the map. Raids down to about half health. Egypt, he's going to get the concussive blows on him as well. Very different story now for Legacy.
Yeah, lots of damage. The difference between these games is the lane control that King and Kuden have got. It's a Braum Lucian into a Cogmore Trundle. They were never going to win that lane for the side of the Chiefs. They are just holding on. And the fact that Carbon's invading means that Spooks can't be proactive. And generally, this is just a good start.
Yeah, things working out much better here for Legacy as King has to get out of the way of the pillar. Kuden makes his way over as well. That ground makes a lot of noise.
It does.
It's really strange. I mean, it's just ground. Swiffer having to deal with these voidlings. Can't really do it. The Malefic Vision's doing some work here as well as Malzahar. Still Malzahar. Spear not going to find Spooks. And there's the knock-up. Lands the E as well as Swiffer carrying that E in with him. Seismic Shove isn't going to come through as Choose now gets his shield removed.
Yeah, Carbon loses the trade, but so does Swiffer. So Choose actually has control of this middle lane. Unfortunately, doesn't have enough mana to use all of his rotation. And so Swiffer can still hang out. Spook's able to now bite back, though, aggressively and look towards Carbon.
Yeah, looks for the steal. I don't think he'll be able to find... Oh, wow. My goodness.
He didn't even know.
That was not fair. Spear going to go wide there as well as Carbon. Still not quite having the best time, but more aggressive in the early stage and didn't die. So still, definitely a good thing. And Tally's having a great time on the top side.
Yeah, Tally's definitely putting in work. Spooks needs to have an impact at the moment. This feels like almost out of necessity. Something T-Gun said at the start of the show, that Swiper's not often that capable of getting leads himself, but if you give him one, he will run away with the game. Last game he was gifted one at the Rift Herald. Yeah, this time around he's actually struggling.
The moment you can see Tally, he's going to go back to base. Swiffer picks himself up his blue buff. Shoves some shards into it. He'll just hop on his little surfboard. Back here in mid. Teleport comes down from Tally. Just continue his assault on the top lane. Barmy Cinder now in hand. We'll be able to push these minions very effectively.
And this is where it turns around for Swiper, to be honest with you. Goes back to base, gets his first item. Best recall ever, by the way.
Oh yeah, adorable.
And whatever he comes back with will help him out at the very least in surviving that laning phase.
Yeah, so a bunch of extra health for that Doran's Ring as well as the Ruby Crystal. Not quite as much clear. We'll have that added AP. Feel very good about that. Swiffer now moving back towards the mid lane. Choose, shoves that one in. Has level 6, so Nether Grasp is up and available for the Malzahar.
Yeah, also has his flash up. So if they do catch somebody, if Carbon's nearby, they can look towards Swiffer.
Yeah.
Swiffer being level 6 doesn't actually impact the lane any further. He wants to use that to get around the map and make plays.
Also, the amount of terrain that this Chiefs roster makes is actually silly. And the pillar and the Weaver's Wall there from Swiffer as well. See what he is going to try and do is moving towards the top side now. Rift Scuttler Vision is there. See whether Swiffer can actually lock Tally down. Doesn't look like it. Choose moves back into the lane. Swiffer going to join him.
Yeah, so Swiffer's always just going to be wave clearing. Keep the shield down pretty much permanently as Talia also, especially when you have the blue buff. Consistent poke. You can out wave clear Mel's, but it's risky.
Whoa. Jim just says that was rude. Gets down a pillar, finds Kudun. Ray's getting some free farm here on the bottom side. King turns up. Jim turns up as well. Chiefs just clear out the minion wave, move themselves back. Very even is the farm on the bottom side of the map. Recurve bow through that serrated dirt.
Yeah, most likely the Wit's End build again from this Kog'Maw. Big power spike when you actually get the Wit's End. And the magic resistance usually means that support's damage is effectively just too little.
I actually really love the fact that he's picking up a Wit's End against Nidalee Malzahar as well, that are going to be doing so much of that burst damage.
The real game plan, if you were the Chiefs, is wait on Swiper's power spikes with his items. Once he has magic resistance and can get onto King, no one else on Legacy can actually kill him, and he's just going to be a giant tree.
Yep. Which is a little bit ironic considering their opponents. It's Tally. Clearing all these minions out, he's going to be fine. Still 11 CS in the lead, but Spooks now doing the classic Spooks tactic.
So is Swiffer.
This on the top side, yeah.
Note the ultimate is available and looks like he's ready to make a play with Spooks. There it is.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall comes out. He's going to cut off the shed. Is Tally going to get knocked off? There's all the damage and Swiper grabs the kill. The tower now in trouble. Legacy only 2 members up here on the top side, or only 1 as Carbon makes his way in. Nice start for the Chiefs.
Yeah, Carbon's able to push them away, so no turret to be seen, but a first blood is still big when Swiper is the recipient. This is deja vu from game number 1 where Swiffer is not mid, Choose always is. He's just farming, just trying to get to a point of power.
Yeah, and shout out to T-Gun as well, looking like a prophet in this game with Spooks' visit to the top side of the map. Certainly working out. Swiper now with a Barmy Cinder of his own, so looking for the Sunfire Cape early on. Wants to be able to equal the cliff.
Yeah, absolutely right. You don't want to die in that lane. You also don't want to get pushed under the turret. Maokai's okay under the turret, but they also want to be diving Tally, it seems, and stopping him from getting around the map, using his ult and impacting the bottom lane where King and Kuden are still being pretty aggressive.
Yeah, do you feel like the, I guess, armor focus early on is a good idea here if he is going to head towards that Sunfire Cape, or do you think now straight into the Spirit Visage, get that sap magic working out better?
He could go towards just the Spectre's Cowl and then into the Sunfire Cape if he chooses. Depends what his goals are going to be. If they're going to use his teleport to rotate around the map, find some kills as a team, which is a risk because remember, Tally on that Shen has a more immediate impact in any fight that breaks out.
Well, looking at Tally one more time. Already getting focused out here by the Chiefs as Choose and Carbon looking for Spooks, but Spooks, nope, just going to ping them out, heads towards the other side of the map. With Legacy on the bottom side, now Chiefs looking to play defensively around that bottom lane.
Yeah, everything's still reasonably slow in this second game. Of course, didn't happen too early in game number 1 where the Chiefs started to accelerate. Remember that first Drake is actually not as impactful as the Infernal last time around.
Yeah. You can see slight pause to come through one more time. Jim looking over at his teammates right now, big smile on his face. And Legacy looking all business right now. The game looking a lot better for them, but first blood going over to the Chiefs. Is this going to be another ticket towards that snowball here, or is this a very different game still, Rusty?
This is a pretty different game, a new identity to be seen from Legacy in particular. The Chiefs, same old business, get Swiper going. He can still carry the rest of the map, but it's risky to utilize a Maokai as your big carry tool instead of the Na, especially against the Shen.
Yeah, and is this going to sort of involve, now Swiper's big, make sure he's as tanky as possible so that then the Kog'Maw can get bigger? Is this going to require Swiper now transitioning his lead into the bottom lane or into the mid lane there for Swiffer?
Yeah, it's all about facilitating the rest of the map now. So if they do make a play, you ideally want to get Raze going, actually find him some kills. Even if it's an even trade and Raze gets kills, it's a win for the Chiefs because they want to snowball that Kog'Maw, late game hyper carry, and they're all designed to protect him. Yeah,
and we'll see whether Spooks is going to be able to do the same thing. Because the other thing I love about Rek'Sai into Shen is you taunt him, you still get knocked up. The CC's still there. It's beautiful. I mean, one of those interactions that I really like is Legacy still looking very, very intently at their screen. Swiper doing the same thing as we are about to hop back onto the Rift. Here we are. Pause well and truly over. Chiefs with a slight advantage, but it's only 400 here at 10 minutes in.
Yeah, they've done the first step, but the following steps are the most important part for the Chiefs. If they give Legacy an eye in, and the team fighting, and even the skirmishing from them will be enough to start to snowball back in their direction. This is anybody's game.
Certainly is. 7CS down is Raze. King does have a lot of control there on the bottom side of the map, but Swiper's caught himself back up. Carbon looking to go aggressive here in the enemy jungle, misses the spear.
Just expecting a juke.
Yeah.
Just never jukes.
Spooks was underground. I don't even think he could see Carbon. Kuden still paying a lot of attention here in the enemy jungle. So Legacy, their identity well and truly intact. And that is, we don't want to be on our side of the map, we want yours.
But still a first big movement, right? Contrast the games, and Carbon is going forwards.
Yeah.
He's no longer being invaded by Spooks. This is the other way around. The Shu is on the other foot. Even Kuden helping out.
Yeah, seismic shove. Not actually going to find Kuden with a good stand behind me. Chu's looking for the flanking play. King turns up as well as the Cogmore is just behind them. But Legacy do decide to disengage.
Yeah, they just walk away. Carbon maybe giving a steal attempt at the very least. Doesn't have a lot of mana though, so he'd have one spear and potentially chase past that point.
Ooh, nice spear lands on the Swiffer there as well, a little bit off screen. Both teleports are available, but no one pulling the trigger. No one even taking this blue buff. Spook's looking for Choose, but doesn't find him. Ejim possibly caught out as he has to immediately flash. Good dodge, and gets out of the way of the ultimate as well. A fancy feat from Ejim. Gets back under the turret.
He just dodges everything there. Ejim could have died, but even saves the exhaust. That's how much he dodged. Is now moving forwards.
Yeah, well, Subjugate will go down. He'll get a lot of health back. Good exhaust onto Carbon as Spooks is looking for the knock-up. Stand United is going to come down on top of the Nidalee, but they transition over to Kuden and gives Swiper into the back line. Chooses Black forward. Swiffer's in trouble after he picks up the kill, and King starting to go off, but oh my goodness, Raze picking up the kills. Ejim's so low, but he gets the heal. Tally's going to die, and Spooks grabs it. Chiefs now 4-1.
Incredibly clutch from the Chiefs there. Swiper gets into the back line at the right time. Nothing to be responded for by Legacy. They were close, though, to getting all of those kills. Carbon still pestering around the pit.
Ejim.
Oh.
Okay.
Just
Wow,
doesn't
look
die.
at King's Tribute. That is such a busted passive. So much health back as Carbon couldn't find the spear under that dragon.
It's actually a really good point, though, right? The Trundle just does not die in these fights. Look at how low Ejim gets consistently, but if anyone dies near him, he'll get health back without fail. Swipers W times with the flash, because Swiffer's able to get in there, they are able to take him out. Deep from King and Choo-Choo's. They were trying to protect each other, but didn't have the team because they'd all flashed to safety. And Chiefs are able to then separate Legacy and just run over them.
And the double seismic shove as well from Swiffer in amongst all of that chaos was just so incredibly impactful. A lot of minute details really giving advantages to the Chiefs right now, who do manage to pick themselves up the Cloud Drake. And once again, we got Clouds and Fire, Rusty, as the next one's going to be that Infernal. Oh, Swiper. Possibly trying. Yeah, we'll see whether he can actually get the ultimate down in time. No damage reduction to come in just yet.
Wow.
Good knockback. Oh my god! Goes 1-for-1 underneath the turret, and the minions are all dead. They can't keep pushing.
It's still good for Legacy getting a kill onto King, but that's massive from Swiper. Able to make a play like that. Gives a lot of time to the rest of the map to be able to push. Raze in particular, working on that top side of the map, as it looks like a battle for that first turret.
And this tower is a much healthier state, so it is going to be Legacy that do take that one down. King grabs the first turret blood. There is going to be Raze picking up the turret for the Chiefs. So, slight advantage there for Legacy. Claw themselves back. 1,000 gold. Going to be the lead.
Bonus gold to be seen from Legacy naturally will help them out, but the Chiefs are still in the driver's seat. They're only 2 to 5 seconds behind in that tempo, thanks to Swiper, honestly. If he was still alive, he could have teleported top lane and sped them up, but he did his part.
Yeah. Managing to get that kill, definitely good. 2, 1, and 3. 100% kill contribution here for Swiper, who had a great game 1 and is looking to push it through now once again for game number 2. The big Swifts is come to play here at Brisbane. Rude and Carbon to clear up this mid lane that has been shoved in. Swiffer, going to head home. Grab himself some more items, and King split pushing on the top side.
And big item spikes to be seen from Legacy. That Malzahar is pretty big.
Yeah.
Nidalee still farming well enough, not exactly doing what you would expect from the champion though against the Rek'Sai. Actually behind in CS.
Spooks has gone for that full Tiamat. I want to clear everything all the time build.
Yeah.
That's been working out quite nicely with that Barmy Cinder now as well.
There's two ways the Rek'Sai goes. It's the Sightstone or the Tiamat.
Yeah.
He has chosen his path and he wants to do damage.
Kuden fighting with Ejim. Nothing really happens. Level advantage there for Kuden though, so that's definitely good news as Raze, clearing out this wave, does have his wit's end. Close to that Runans as well as Swiper. Still looking for
got
Tally.
Swiffer here.
Swiffer, yeah, he's going to set up the wall. Tally can't get over the top. Flashes. The seismic shove doesn't find it as Swiffer immediately puts the wall down. Another shove comes in as they're just CCing this Shen forever. Does get under the turret, will survive for now.
Yeah, lives, of course, they burn the summoners and there's no teleport available for Tally. He can go back to base and join his team, however, in this middle lane with his stand united.
Yeah, really nice move from Legacy. Take down that outer turret quite easily here against the Chiefs and grab that turret lead. Not quite the gold lead, but opening up that map is fantastic for this team.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is by having an extra turret still being behind in gold, it's a sign for what could happen if they lose the next skirmish or the next big trade. She's still in the advantageous position.
Yeah, Legacy not out of the woods just yet. Spirit Visage almost there. The Swiper as well, speaking the woods. Heading back down for that 1v1 with Tally. His Spirit Visage has been completed, however, so not going to be doing as much damage to him is the old Swiper. That's not necessarily his game plan, just weather the storm.
Yeah, neither of them really have a game plan revolving around their own lane in this second game.
Yeah.
Ray's still massively snowballing. He's a Cogmore after all, and Legacy has sculpted themselves a design around King on that Lucian. It's a mechanical battle between AD carries, and both of them think they're the better of the two.
Yeah. And Raze at the moment, 1-0 and 2. 2-1 and 0 though for King, so a little bit of extra gold. Having fallen down, Raze caught back up in farm. Everything going fine, and now just defending this outer turret on the top side of the map.
That's such an early QSS as well for Swiffer.
Yeah.
He does not want to die to that Malzahar.
Right, Nethergrasp was going to be a big option, especially now that that wave has been shoved through. Might have thought that, look, if I'm going to move up in this lane, I need to not get stunned.
Yeah, absolutely right. Of course, it means the Carbon may not want to gank that middle lane either. A lot of their focus may then go towards the Lucian Braum lane, which means that Swiffer can rotate, and he will do so quicker than Choose. It also means that Spooks can be there to counter gank if they look towards that. It all comes down to that timing as well. Get blue buff and maybe look towards the Drake and make a play around it. For the moment, the 2v2 lanes on the opposite side of the rift.
Yeah. But a very different story here this game. The gold entirely even now at 18 minutes. Blue buff going to go over to Swiffer, but you can see Carbon. I mean, I think they've lost one blue buff so far this game.
Bottom lane's now recalling. Most likely going to walk towards the Drake area.
Oh, Spooks, you cheeky devil. What is... Spooks is a mastermind of the steal today.
Yeah, that man's ready to go.
Yeah. If you're a shop owner here in Brisbane, probably watch out. Sam Broadley. Just, you know, bear it in mind. If he walks in... Yeah, well, anyway. Dragon, going to come back up right now. It's an Infernal Drake, and Chiefs all moving over to it. Don't want to let this one go.
Of course, want to play around the spears coming out of Carbon if he can connect onto a priority target. They don't have heals on the side of the Chiefs, but the Chiefs' response is to not wait around and get hit with spears. It's to actually just go.
Yeah, that's a two-sided power spike here for the Cogmore as well, so they're going to do a lot of damage to this, but is still alive for the moment. Tally can make his way in as Kuda just launches himself forward. The Chiefs get themselves the Dragon, but is this the way Legacy can win? As Raze flashes, is going to die first up, and Swiffer's melting at the same time. Choosing trouble. Swiper is gigantic, and a Cathian surprise locks up the double kill. Chiefs now turning it on its head.
Battle of the tanks.
Ejim once again turning up in the nick of time. Kuda looking to get himself back into the fight. Ejim's just a bait bot right now, as there's another pillar from Ejim to try and help out. This is ridiculous. Tally just shields himself up again, gets the W as Swipe. Oh, that was amazing. But the knockup comes through. This tank battle will be over with Spooks taking down the Shen, and Kuden limps away.
I think I grew a beard during that fight, Atlas, but they actually did find the victory at the end. The Chiefs, a lot of damage coming out of Spooks, actually the tipping point between the tank battle. Did a lot of work there.
Man, the Tiamat, so important. Let's have a look at this one again, hopefully in fast forward towards the
And
end.
this is where Raze actually gets caught out, exhausted and just completely stuck. Still, the Chiefs are able to make it work. Malefic Visions is what kills Swiffer. But from this point, all of the carries have been killed. both teams have made a conscious decision that they're going to kill the backline of the opposition team, which means the tanks are just the only things left standing. And I really would like to fast forward this.
Yeah, I feel like,
Yes.
oh, there it is. Thank you. Thank you very much.
As they pressed their buttons and stuff happened and Pally died.
Yeah,
Lots of buttons.
Oh, and here's another fight. It's Kuden's going down extraordinarily low. Swiffer grabs that kill as King culls over to the side. As Ejim once again still running forward, flashes out of the way. I don't think Drew's got the Malefic Visions on. And the Trundle once again survives. Swiper is sort of in no man's land, but Swiffer's going to flash over. King gets destroyed and Raze grabs it with his massive range on the living artillery.
Coincides with a 20-minute potential Baron that they have straight up kicked off at the moment. There are 3 people dead from the side of Legacy, but the Smite is standing.
Yeah, Carbon looking to get himself over there. Swiffer taking a lot of damage from the Malefic Visions. Choose is still a force to be reckoned with and has the ultimate, but this Baron going down very low. There's the Subjugators. Carbon looking to pounce himself in there. Lots of damage as he can't actually get towards the pit. Low health bars. Ejim's about to do this 1v1 and grabs it off the back end. Choose now struggling as Raze looking to head back home, and the Baron falls in favor of the Chiefs. Ejim will die finally. Jeez, thank goodness for that.
Ejim shows that he's actually a human after all, not a god, and does go down.
But he's definitely a troll.
Yes. But still, they get the Baron. They get to go back to base. The looks of it.
Yep, Swiper gonna get stopped.
Well.
There's the ultimate from Kuden, who's tanking up the turret. Nice use of the twisted advance from Swiper. Spooks gets in the back end! 2 kills come out immediately. Swiper's baiting like nobody's business. And Spooks knows he's seen this one before. It takes a long time, and we missed the start of the next fight. So thank goodness they walk away from each other.
Swiper had no idea that he was baiting, is the best part about this.
Yeah.
Spooks is having the series of his life at the moment. 6-0-6 is the scoreline of this Rek'Sai. Stellar.
Unbelievable. And yeah, 12 kill participation seems to be the thing here as Swiper and Spooks, this tank line is honestly all the Chiefs seem to need. Because Swiffer and Raze in that original Dragon fight died instantly.
I mean, you saw the Titanic Hydra there for the Rek'Sai. The conscious decision to build damage so that they're not just a 2-threat team means that Legacy have a harder task when the Chiefs are winning.
Well, Raze by Arcane Barrage going to help take down this turret. He's already got another recurve bow, so building towards either the Blade of the Ruined King or that Ginsu's Rage Blade. I personally hope for the Rage Blade.
It should be the Rage Blade, realistically. Depends what he wants to do. Of course, Blade of the Ruined King works if he needs to kite back, and that's not a bad decision. It's Tally's health that he's stacked.
Yep. Choose with a bit as well at the same time with that Rylai's, but now the Chiefs are going to set up for this siege. The Baron buff, of course, helping out a lot here at 23 minutes. It's Choose. No shield. Has to be careful as the Voidlings are spawning.
Swiffer.
Big knock-up as the Weaver's Wall comes in. There's the exhaust down on the Malzahar, and he's going to fall. Kuden's going to die, and that split of the fight was beautiful from Swiffer.
And Swiffer didn't stay on his wall. He accidentally, I think he got stopped and got off the wall, had to walk the long way around.
Just shot a wall at them.
Such a good ultimate that they still win a 4v5 basically because they were trapped, base broken.
Yeah, that's going to be the top inhibitor turret falling down. Inhibitor going to follow here as Raze does a lot of damage. Spooks turns up as well. Look at that bounty on his portrait. My goodness, this Rek'Sai is huge. There's the coordinated backs. Hey, it's the Olympics. Oh, Ejim's like, oh, come on, guys. That was embarrassing.
When you want that buff, but you don't have it.
And Raze with the Mage's Elixir understands that Arcane Barrage does a lot of magic damage, likes the AP.
Means he wants to end the game now. That is legitimately the direction that the Chiefs are going towards. Guardian Angels, QSSs everywhere for Maokai as well as Swiffer.
Oh my goodness.
On that Talia. They shouldn't die. There's actually very little avenues of attack that Legacy have with a single target focused team composition that can take apart the Chiefs right now. They actually just like have to kill Spooks and he has a GA, so do they kill Egypt?
No, they don't. They've been trying all game. It hasn't been working.
Yeah.
Hanging out here as well. He's able to throw down the pillars if he needs to. That sapling slowing down Choose and Kuden. There's the Winter's Bite. So the wave clear is here for Legacy.
Baron buff doesn't have forever though, Atlas.
Yeah.
That's their sieging strength still there for a time.
Well, they are able to get a lot of damage onto this turret. Raze just spinning so fast. Kuden going down very, very low, throws out the ultimate, but Swiper's just tanking forever. The tower falls down, good stun onto the tree, who flashes his way out. Ventral Maelstrom is there, but look at Raze. Finds the W once again. Choose trying to close distance, but doesn't even get the silence. This base is in shambles now for Legacy, but they have held on to this mid inhibitor for the moment.
Swiper has teleport, so the Chiefs hanging around indicates that he will teleport with this next wave. They want to make a play for this inhibitor.
The Weaver's wall goes up. He's just going to say, well, don't come in. They've got a wall down as in goes Swiper, finds Kuden. Living Artillery's going to tag him up as well. Ray's doing a lot of damage as now the Chiefs looking to kite this one back. Swiper down to very, very low once again. Good QSS. Gets himself out of the way, and Kuden might be the target they're looking for. Carbon's going to fall. Rays flashing forward, gets the Living Artillery kill onto the Braum, and now Tally, he's tanky, but he doesn't have the damage. King's on the fountain, trying to get healthy, and now 26 minutes in, Chiefs looking to win game 2. And they have come with so much to prove. Our 4th place team in the OPL, but you wouldn't believe it.
This is the best that I have seen the Chiefs play, especially in this second game, bringing it back. The face of adversity from Legacy, they prosper.
They most certainly have. And look, it's definitely not over yet. The reverse sweep has been something that Legacy have achieved, but look at the faces of the Chief members here. They are so happy, they are so pumped, and they are so ready to move forward in this series. You heard it from the desk, it's just so hard to come back from that mentally, because that was another dismantling.
Spook's even having a celebratory dance. Knows that he wants to do that if he wins game 3. I personally hope that he doesn't, but we'll see what happens. That was a coveted victory, honestly, from the Chiefs roster. They played champions that Legacy lost with in game number 1 and then beat them with it.
And Ejim's Trundle, I just want to reiterate, the fact that he embodied the fact that he's a troll is so important, because that was just ridiculous. Him skirting around fights, honestly orchestrating where Legacy wanted to go.
It shows a lot of comfort from Chiefs as a whole, knowing their health bars, knowing how much they can allocate towards fights, and playing on that, literally the edge of winning or losing that game, and doing it successfully shows that the Chiefs are here to win.
Yeah, they most certainly are. But ladies and gentlemen, let's throw it back to the analyst desk to break down the second Chiefs victory.
Thank you, Atlas and Rusty. Well, we are back here at the analyst desk. Chiefs up 2-0. Tigon, I mean, are you feeling like your 3-1 Legacy win prediction might be a little bit impossible now?
Might be. Definitely is.
Mathematically, it is impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chiefs outplaying how you thought they'd play. Obviously, they are to an extent.
The Chiefs are playing exactly the standard they play that I expected them to. Legacy are playing nowhere near to the standard I expected them to.
Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this early game then. I mean, did you see a deficit in the early game from Legacy? Or?
Yeah, Legacy had the better bot lane. They had the ability to dive. Tally made a great play early that I'm sure many people missed, where he forced the Maokai TP earlier. Radier picked it up really quickly as well. He forces the Maokai TP, so he has Shen ult as the difference maker. But then they did nothing with it. They didn't use it. Nothing happened.
And the biggest problem to me is, you know, there's a saying here, is fight fire with fire.
Sure.
Whoever came up with that saying, it's not a good saying, because you should fight fire with water. And if you were Carbon and your idea is like, I'm being invaded, you know what, I'm going to take Nidalee and invade the other jungle, when your team already wasn't responding, now all of a sudden they have to push out waves and respond, and it just wasn't happening. I mean, we saw Talia was willing to leave level 1 to go across the other side and help out Spooks, you know, shove Carbon out of his jungle. So I just think that, you know, right now, Legacy are actually playing towards Chief strengths. Just get Carbon into Fog of War. It's really, really easy to execute upon. Get him farmed up and then execute on your dives. They're such a good diving team.
I think a lot of that was basically Legacy tried to play bot side, so that the Lucian Braum, that the Shen, they actually set up a lot of bot dives, and I saw a lot of opportunities for them to dive, and then they just didn't do it. They had the vision set up, they had Shen ulti, Nidalee was there, Malzahar was there at one point, both the Chief members were in the turret, and they just left. And I was extremely annoyed that they tried to do that, but
difficult to execute. I mean, let's take a look at this. Let's look at this replay from about 18 minutes in. It's a team fight. Brady, why don't you run us through what's happening?
All right, so on the screen when it comes on. So obviously, I think Chiefs are really smart here. They come in here because they know they can win a 5v5 team fight with the Kog'Maw too. I think Kog'Maw at this point had 2 item power spiked. And what you see, first thing you see is Raze throws the team fight by flashing in. And now Swiffer is dead. Swiffer is already dead. King throws again by flashing in. So both AD carries through, but King threw later. So then Chiefs end up winning.
And like, and in any good camera catch, you know, the last person with the ball wins. So Raze gives it to Legacy, King gives it back to the Chiefs, and this is just a tank brawl that's going on. But it really is how the Chiefs are able to juggle this aggro. They know when they have to go aggressive and when they can back away. And you know, Tegan was pointing it out the best. Kunin is like sitting there just cussing his team, like, you idiots! Like, I'm trying to save every one of you. I can't get it done. Like, you see poor Kunin like just dancing in and out of that fight. Like, what is a Braum to do, dude?
I think one thing that I will call out King for there is he does something very greedy. So he flash ease in to get the last hit on Talia that was out of the fight. Now that's something I tend to do sometimes a lot in solo queue because I like to pad my stats, but it is not good. It is not good for winning team fights, and don't do it in a competitive game.
So you're saying
You get the kill?
you wouldn't have done it?
I wouldn't have done it. You get the kill, but you need to win the team fight.
Counter
You wanna win the
question,
game.
would you have flashed when Raze flashed? So you
No.
said you wouldn't have flashed when King did. Would you have flashed when Raze
No,
flashed?
I just wouldn't have thrown. I would have been a good Cogmore, gone back to my team, and won us the fight
It's
straight
easy
away.
to say that from the safety of the analyst desk.
It's not hard. You flash backwards. You don't flash into the enemy team. You're
All right,
playing Cogmore.
let's move on because there was a second replay you want to talk about, T-Gun, which is the tower dive. Let's bring that up. You want to talk us through it?
So we're going to see right after the Baron, Kunin's going to go stop someone from recrawling. Who can you stop? That is awful. Swiper, why not? Because he can kill all of you whenever you have any backup. They knew Rek'Sai was here. They heard the ult. Choo-Choo spotted it out, and they blow everything on Swiper. Spook's great play here. Don't get me wrong, great play, but that is the only member of those three that you stop and kills you all.
You know what? That makes Swiper look really good, but let me tell you, that was not Swiper.
That was Spooks. That was all Spooks and a bit of
But
Kunin.
maybe you give Swiper some. Maybe he taunted there and baited it out. You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
No, he was yelling profanities across the stage.
He stood
really
up,
smart
beat his
tactical
chest a
play.
little bit.
Yes,
At
I
the
like
same
it.
time, we have to give a lot of credit to Spooks this game. I think Spooks has shown that he's actually can play two very good styles. Game one, he's being very proactive, tracking Carbon. When Carbon wants to be an aggressor in this game, you saw that Spooks was doing the exact same thing. He's placing out his wards. He's stopping these turret dives. He's kind of playing that facilitator role, and he often gets overlooked for this. I think that Spooks is in the right part of Summoner's Rift more often than not. When he mechanically misplays, sure, he looks a little bit silly sometimes, but more often than not, at least he's there.
A lot of the Chiefs early game, you see that Spooks is actually there in some sort of extent where he's getting vision or something, because Chiefs play very methodically. They always set up for something, which always lets Spooks be in the right place at the right time, and I think that's what you saw that game.
Yeah, well, all right, so let's move on to the late game. I mean, was there anything that Legacy could have done towards the end to bring this back?
I didn't think so. I think they just dug themselves into a hole that was way too deep, and you can't dig up. No, that doesn't happen.
Are they going to be playing tilted for the rest of the series, do you reckon?
And they looked pretty tilted to me.
Yeah.
It's hard to sort of say as someone on the sidelines, but it did not look like a great environment after those two games.
Yeah.
I think when a carry top laner plays Shen, you know you're tilted.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing to me, is that I think that this time Legacy threw their curveball. I think that the fact that you had a Braum in the game and you had a Shen on a team that normally plays pushing waves, two very uncharacteristic non-pushers in the same lineup, showed that this was Legacy's curveball and it didn't work. And when your curveball doesn't work, it affects you mentally.
All right, well, that is game 2 out of the way. Chiefs up now 2-0. Can they tie it up and do a 3-0 sweep? We'll be back with game 3 right after this.